Booktok is being discussed quite heavily at the moment, from news articles to commentary YouTubers, and instead of me providing anything insightful to the conversation, I'm just going to read old Booktok books, you know, the ones from like 2020 and 2021, when times just felt much simpler.
One thing about me is that if a book is popular, I'm going to read it. I don't care if the book is popular in 2020 or 2021, I'm still going to read it if I haven't, and I haven't. So in this video, I'm going to be reading old Booktok books, sort of books that were on 2020 and 2021 Booktok, you know, which is TikTok, but the book section, which now is a little bit, I don't even want to talk about that. Those books on there, I'm gonna read them so I know what people are talking about, because when people are like, oh, it's just like this book that I read many years ago, I want to know. So I have 3 books here. I have 3 books here that are very, very popular and have been very, very popular for a very long time. The first one is The Cruel Prince. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what this is. I'm pretty sure I'm literally the last person in the entire world to read this book. This was mainly 2020. This book came out in 2021 and it was so insanely popular and I never got around to reading it. So that's what this video is for. And also the Throne of Glass series was just very popular, so I'm going to read Crown of Midnight because that's the one that I am up to. So those are the 3 books I'm going to be reading in this video. If you want to know my thoughts, opinions, reviews on any of these books, spoiler free, of course, I 100% recommend that you keep watching. I am starting off with The Cruel Prince because I feel like this is one of those books where it's like, how have you still not read that? Because I feel like everyone who hasn't read it, they're not going to read it, but I'm going to. What is this book about? Jude has a few sisters. She's a human. She's living in the human world, the mortal world, when all of a sudden this fey guy comes in and kills her parents and then kidnaps her and her sisters, and then it's like, actually, I'm gonna be your new dad. You're living here now in Fey world. So obviously, because Jude and her twin sister, they are not Fey, they are mortal, they get bullied, they get teased. They feel like they have to be constantly trying to prove themselves because everyone's like, you're mortal. You're not like us. You can't sit with us. Like, that's kind of the vibe that they have.
And you can't sit with us. Whatever. You can't sit with us!
And they kind of have this sort of school that they go to. Her dad, the dude that murdered her parents, yeah, he is like a really important guy in this world, so they're kind of getting a pass. And then there's this dude called Carton. Basically, him and his friends, they like torment Jude because she's not like Faye. She doesn't back down. No, I won't back down.
No, I won't back down.
And it says here on the back, Jude soon realizes that to survive in the treacherous, dangerous world of the royal court, she needs to be as cunning and deceitful as the Fae themselves. Basically, she gets a position doing something. So that's kind of what's going on. And I'm going into this book knowing that it is not a romance. It's a fantasy book. And there's a lot of plot and a lot of politics and a lot of world building. And it's not a romance. But I'm also going into it knowing who is going to be the eventual love interest. I have seen this fan art. I'm also going into it knowing that the fact that it says he's a cruel prince, he's actually going to be cruel. I've seen so many people be like, he's actually just so mean. What does that say there? The Cruel Prince. Which I'm grateful for, because I'm so sick of books marketing things as enemies to lovers and they're not even enemies. Or he's so mean and then he's not even mean. When they market a guy as like super nice and everything and he's like a monster. He's cruel? Yeah, I think we could tell by the title. Let's do a little tester. Oh, this map. Actually, you know what this map is reminding me of? There were these books, they were like fairy books when I was younger, and I swear, they're very similar. I'll find it. I have been a book hoarder from the beginning because why do I still have these? Okay, let me explain. These are for my future children, okay, or my future nieces. Or if I don't have any of those things, then I will donate them. But these are the books I was telling you about, the fairy books. Like, that's what... It looks like it. This book here, that's like Caribou vibes. But this is reminding me of those younger fairy books. When younger. Oh, I like the little illustrations. I like that. Oh, I also like these illustrations. That's a little bee and that's a little spider. I really like when books have these little like extra things. Why is chapter 1 only 1 sentence? Is that how it's supposed to be? I like that for the paragraph break. It has a little sword. I'm at chapter 12. I am about 100 pages into this book. Honestly, for most books, I tell myself to get to the 100-page mark, and that's when I basically decide if I want to keep going or not. And I'm going to keep going with this. It's very intriguing so far. Also, this book is YA, so I think people need to remember that when they read it. Wait, it is YA, isn't it? I am not the, most well-versed in fantasy. I am just, making my way through. Also, look, there's a little, like, beetle on the front of the cover. That's really cute. Honestly, I was expecting him to be a lot more cruel than what he is. But also I feel like he's pretty cool for like a YA monster. He's mean, yes, but also he's not like, I'm gonna kill you, because someone did try to kill her and he stopped them. His reasoning was all like, oh, we can't kill her because then we can't torture her anymore. But like still, he still stopped it. I think I would actually be scared if someone had a page of just my name over and over again. Like that is actually scary, because who is doing that unless they're obsessed with you? I am up to chapter 20 and I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break from reading this book. But what I will say is that I'm someone who is easily entertained, and as long as the characters aren't insufferable. I'm remembering this is YA as I read it, so anything that's very YA coded, I just like keep moving forward. Don't dwell on the cringy things. Have I even said what this book is about? Things are getting like insanely intense. This is good, but like, what? Look how nice my mint ice cream looks like, and no, it does not taste like toothpaste. For a little break, let me tell you about Crown of Midnight. I have been reading Crown of Midnight, but it's not one of those books that I have constant updates to talk about, especially considering it is part of a series, so I can't even talk about too many things without like spoiling it. What I will say is the rhetoric is scary. I think Maud is funny. Someone has died and I'm very upset about that. I'm like at like chapter 40. I think it's very interesting. I'm very invested in the story, but also I do not know that much about fantasy. I'm not the biggest fantasy person, so my knowledge of fantasy isn't that great, and I'm kind of like a beginner into it. All I know is really YA fantasy from when I was younger, so this is like right up my alley and I really like it. I will say someone does die in the story that it's very upsetting. It's very, very upsetting because I don't want them to die. I didn't want them to die and they did. I don't know why, but part of me is imagining some parts of the castle. There's this show, it's called like Sophia the First. I don't know why, it's very random, but I remember many years ago, like I'm talking when I was very, very little, a movie came out. There's a scene where she's in the castle and it's at night and it's really dark, and I'm kind of just, I don't know, I see that at some stages in this book. I like the magic, I like where things are going to be headed. Normally I buy series and part of myself is like, why would I do that? I don't even like them, but I'm really glad that I bought the entire series of this because I definitely want to read Hair of Fire like after this almost immediately. But yeah, that's kind of my update. But yeah, it's not really one of those books that like I have constant updates to talk about, but yeah, I'm really liking it so far. Sometimes Selena, the main character, does say some things and I'm like, please don't. Currently, I like Kale and I like Dorian. I like how everything is going to be set up to go into like the rest of the series. Mort is a door handle, and I don't know if you know this. Is this too niche? Do you know who that lady is? And she wrote a door story, a woman's relationship with a door. Anyway, the point I was making is I think Mort is a human. I think it's Snow White, yes, where the mirror is like actually a man. Beauty and the Beast also aligns kind of well with this theory. When I was younger, I read a story and it was fantasy and there was an inanimate object and it could talk and it was actually a man and he was like really attractive. So I definitely feel as though this is going to be the case with Mort, and I feel like Mort is actually a person and Mort is not a door, but Mort has been cursed to be a door, and that's why he's smart and that's why he knows things, because he was once a person. That's what I think. We'll see if I'm right. But also I feel like we won't know if I'm right until like many books, because I feel like that's kind of something that we don't really get revealed immediately. It's something that we will find out in like many books to come, and it'll be like a big giant Mort is actually a person, like not a door handle. I always think of Mort from Madagascar. My car is called King Julian, actually. Yeah, that's what I named my car. Why is it called King Julian? Okay, well, I don't know. I was trying to think of a name for my car. I was also reading Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, Daisy Hayes Together Undoing. And if you know that, you'll know that I do love Julian. I was reading that at the same time that I got my car. My car is called King Julian for the little lemur, but also I would have never named my car after the lemur from Madagascar had Julian not been on my mind. This is fan art of Feyre, the main character, Fleetwood, her dog, and then Baba Yellowlegs. And I will be needing the next one immediately. Those drawings are reminding me of Tinkerbell.
Takes flight. When the moon comes.
Because it's like, oh, they're born from like the wisps. No, what are they? Different movie. The little like Santas. I don't know what they're called. They're called Santas, aren't they? Anywhere I've ever lived, it's always just been they're Santas, but I feel like that's not the actual name. I don't know. Making me remember Tinkerbell. I love makeup. I mean, obviously I love makeup, otherwise I wouldn't be wearing it. But what I would love nothing more to do now is to take it off. So I thought, you know what? While I tell you about this book, because guess what? I have finished this book. I have finished it, and I have some thoughts, and I'm going to talk to you about it. So while I tell you about this, I'm going to take off my makeup because I want to. Okay, so I have my notes here. There are a lot of characters in this book. There were so many times throughout the book where I was like, should I be taking notes about like who these people are? I am of the belief that I can just search up who the character is if it's really a big deal. I'm not someone who obsesses over every single person, and I feel like if they're really important, I would just remember it. I also reread my books a lot, so I just remind myself when I reread it, I'll know. And that's what I love about rereading, especially fantasy books or books where there's a lot of characters. Also, when people kind of like ask like the level of romance that I like in my books, I would say this. And you're probably like, well, there was like no romance in this book. Yeah, exactly. So nothing. Then when there finally is something, it's like amazing, rather than them like already liking each other on the first page. No, thank you. That is not for me. If that's for you, I'm so happy for you that you like something, but not me. I will admit that there was definitely a few times in this book where I felt that things were a little bit disjointed, info dumping, but I'm starting to think that that's just fantasy. One thing I keep forgetting. The dude has a tail. He has a tail. And the tail is completely hairless, except there's a little tuft of fur at the end of the tail. Kind of like a lion, I think. And there's a part in the book and she's like, oh, I can see why he hides that thing away. This book was also so unintentionally funny. The ending of this book was very interesting. And yes, I am excited to read the next one. So I will have to purchase that one when I save up. Like, I love my car. I do. But fuel is expensive. And insurance is expensive. And those take priority. But then goodness, I don't have to pay rental bills. Her outfits when she goes into the mortal world, kind of something that I just ignore. However, I did not see a single mention of galaxy leggings. I can't remember exactly what it was. Okay, confession. I read this book a while ago. This was one of those books that like I was supposed to start filming my reactions, but then I was so engrossed in the story and like I just kind of read the story and forgot that I was supposed to be like filming my reactions and stuff. So I took notes. So everything that I've said were my thoughts as I was reading it. But in reality, like I read this book like a few weeks ago. So just for some transparency, I do not remember a single thing of Galaxy. I put this in my notes. I was like, I was expecting this book to be the Galaxy leggings one. She does wear some sort of Galaxy thing. I don't know if it's like a Galaxy hoodie. It's something Galaxy. So everyone who said that she wore Galaxy leggings, she does wear leggings and she does wear something Galaxy. Maybe my edition just doesn't have it. Did I enjoy this book? Yes. Yes, I did. Is it the best thing I've ever read? No. Will I continue on with the series? Yes. Will I happily continue on with the series? Yes. I typically like to give authors a few chances. I have a 3 strikes and you're out kind of system. I can say that this book, she hasn't got a strike. I'm very willingly happy to part with my money to get the next one. 100% will be a series that I will be rereading. Again, I am not someone who is very like fantasy. If someone was asking what my favorite genre is, I would not say fantasy. I'm definitely just going into it. Okay, I thought it was a cockroach. It's just a cricket. Cricket outside my window. Should we look at maybe some of the reviews? I will go to the 5-star reviews first, and then I'll go with the 1-star reviews because I am sick of rating books and I'm not rating. It's got a very high rating, like it's literally 4.05. That's like really high, especially after books become popular, and it's got like over 1 million ratings. Some girl was like, if you guys ever want to see what my true heart's desire are on paper, read this book. Someone else was like, excuse me, who cares? Not a plot point, not a character trait, not a single line of quirky banter I could get myself emotionally invested in. This is a book about fairies. Okay. People were like, it's boring. Someone was like, I feel like they might be setting Cardin up to be the love interest. Surely that can't be right, as he is a vile bully / attempted murderer. He literally stopped her from getting murdered. He literally stopped her from getting murdered. Because of the hype, yeah, I think a lot of people, when a book gets popular, a lot of people build up their own expectations, but also I feel like sometimes it's a trend to hate things that are popular. I said it, okay. No, kind of in the way that like music. How everyone likes music when it's underground, but then as soon as it becomes mainstream, it's like, oh. Zero substance, unless you call the pages problematic substance. What? Why is it problematic? People like the book is average, it was boring. Why is it problematic? Is it because he's mean? Oh, the entire thing, I swear, if it's problematic because the dude's mean. The Cruel Prince. The writing is horrendous. It's the worst case of tell, not show. I actually did notice that a little bit, but it's nowhere near as worse as other books I have read. Twilight was better written than this. I have every single Twilight book. This was rubbish. I got high school drama, bullies, and a dumb main character. They're in some kind of school thing situation. Bullies, yeah. Main character, dumb. I don't think she was dumb. Was she dumb? I didn't think, well, see, this is what happens when you read bad books, okay? When you read bad books, when you read a book that surpasses all the bad ones, everyone who has not read those books are like, this book is bad. Compared to some of the other stuff that I have read and other stuff that has been recommended, I thought it was actually pretty good. Everyone's just saying it's boring. I think that just shows us how subjective reading is. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this, and it's, I guess, time to move on. Wait, actually, no, let's talk about something positive, because I don't like ending things on a negative note. A lot of people love this book. Let's read the next book. Time to read the fine print. Okay, moving on. Okay, so I read this book, and I'm kind of gonna take you through what I was feeling as I read this book, and kind of just my thoughts and opinions, basically whether or not you should read it, which, to be honest, I feel like anyone who's going to read this book already has, because this was very popular, and I believe it was 2021 and it's now 2024. Before we begin, I'd like to just say that this was the book that gave me the epiphany that I think for contemporary romances, so I'm not cringing at every single line on every single page and really struggling to get through it, audiobooks. Because, like, actually listening to cringy lines being said is way better than reading them on a page. I started reading this book, okay, and I was a little bit like, ew, I can't do it. And then I just listened to the audiobook, and then everything was fine. So let's start from the very, very beginning. This book is about this girl called Zara, and she works at this place called Dreamland, which is essentially just Disneyland. Like, it literally just is. Like Princess Cara's castle. That's literally just Cinderella. That looks like the Disney castle that's at the start of all the sort of older Disney movies. Wait, how does it go? Basically, the guy, his grandpa died. Basically, to either get inheritance or get shares in the business, it's something like that. Honestly, I can't remember. It's something like that. He needs to improve Dreamland by either renovating something, and so he's like super rich. That's why it's called the Dreamland Billionaire series, and Zara is a minimum wage worker. I saw someone comment on a review of this book that because Rowan is really selfish and underpays his workers, he's like Ebenezer Scrooge from A Christmas Carol, and I just thought that was one of the most hilarious things ever, so I'm sharing it with you. That's what the opening page looks like. The castle in here is so different to this one. Is it? It's a little bit different. Anyways, it says, to all the girls who dream of a Prince Charming but end up falling for the misunderstood villain. And then that's the playlist. There's kind of like little things like that. You know how there's the page break? Yeah, people often just put the asterisks. No, there's a little castle. The opening line for this book is, the last time I attended a funeral, I ended up with a broken arm. I feel like that's a pretty good opening line. Some opening lines are actually horrendous. I'm sorry, I just have my notes here that I'm just ticking off. So I said, yes, so far it's like a standard contemporary romance, particularly the first book in the series, because I feel like in every single, not every single, but so many of the popular specific books that get hyped up on BookTube and Booktok, those series, the first book is always with the super mean guy. He's like, everyone hates him. He's a bad guy, and he's super powerful and everything. And he's also like super, super rich. Whereas the girl, she's just like a regular civilian. She's like one of us. She just has like a normal job. Hello everyone. I'm getting very sick of editing. From this point on, I'm gonna stop cutting out as much as I have been. Typically when there's like a few seconds pause between when I'm talking, I cut it out. But like that's becoming very tedious. So I'm just going to just not do that. But I promise my other videos will be more edited. And she's like super nice and bubbly, and like everyone loves her, and like that's kind of standard. Like I feel like that's like typically what happens in the first book in series when it's like a contemporary romance situation like this. And as typical contemporary romances, she finds him arrogant and annoying, and she's immune to his charms, and he's like, why is this the one girl who doesn't fall at my feet for me? And because this dude is wildly attracted to a commoner, he's just like, I hate her. And because he's attracted to her, he's so mean and rude. Now, when you have a job, there are like briefing meetings. This was when I was like, actually, I don't think I can read this book anymore, is when she showed up to the briefing. She had like this backpack on, and she had a penny board. Not even a skateboard, a penny board. Do you know what a penny board looks like? It looks like that, okay? That is very 2016 Tumblr for 11-year-old girl. Like that's what it is, okay? And no one can convince me otherwise. Like that's giving Visco Summer. That's just so random. Anyway, so in this briefing ceremony, right, this is when they like their meet cute happens. Not really meet cute's when the meeting's actually cute, but they sit next to each other, and like she pinches him. See, I'm just convinced that these people in these stories, and the thing is, oh, suspension of disbelief, these stories are set in a modern world, all right? And I don't know why, but the characters, when it's like their boss or whatever, they always just act so inappropriate. Like this other book that I read, she like hits him with a serving tray. She hits her boss with a serving tray because he's annoying. And in this book, she like pinches him. She like actually just pinches him. I don't know, why would you do that? Like I could never imagine pinching my boss like that, especially the first time. Imagine this, the first time you see them and you just pinch them. Have you seen, never mind. I was gonna say something about Ant Bully. Remember that movie? And something about pinching, but I don't feel like anyone gets pinched there. No, I feel like there is a pinching scene. There are so many Booktok books. I just think they're all the same thing. I thought this was the same book as the Inheritance Games, and it honestly kind of is, because no, it's not. Inheritance Games is YA, but it's in the sense that like some rich old man dies and they have to work for their inheritance or shares or like whatever. They don't just like get the money. There's like stuff they have to do to get it. This book, what he has to do, he has to like revamp the park or like do something for it. And then all the specific people that the grandpa chooses to like approve of this idea has to approve it. And I think in the other book in the series, one of them, the guy has to get like married, which I feel like is that's just a random thing. And also I think the reason why I got them mixed up is because this has to do with brothers. Inheritance Games also has to do with brothers. With the dialogue, I was missing a little. Why do people even open their mouths? Now, I bet you're wondering, why is it called the fine print? She needs to sign the contract. She's now working for him, because it's like, okay, well, maybe she can, you know, help with a proposal. So as she's, you know, she's reading through the contract and he's rushing her and she's like, actually, I need to read the fine print. So that's why the book is called the fine print. And I'm pretty sure that one is called Terms and Conditions because it's like an arranged marriage or something like that. I said here that it's a little cringy, but that's to be expected. And honestly, it is. Like, I'm not going to fold the book because it's cringy, because I know it's going to be cringy. You know what I'm saying? There were some things that were very funny. Oh, also something that I remembered about this book. It's got the trope of where she's texting someone and like falling in love with them, and it's actually the guy, but like she doesn't know it's the guy, but he knows it's her. Like, also, again, because it's a campy romance, there's a lot of mention to her body and his body. He was actually funny in his messages. I don't have anything specific. I think definitely the reason why I didn't hate my experience as much, I actually didn't even mind the experience. Like I said, the audiobook, it's fine. I actually quite enjoyed my listening to the audiobook. My favorite part of this book was when Zara was coming up with ideas for a new ride. I just found that fun because I love theme parks and stuff, and also I think I'm way too old now to ever go to a theme park ever again, so that's fun. Look at my notes. I have to do with all this and that. So where is the fine print? I think I already mentioned this at the start, but yes, it's like the grumpy ex-sunshine thing. What I've learned is that I am not a fan of the grumpy character, because often he's not just grumpy, they have a personality of a cranky old man. They're just rude. They're so rude. It's not even they're grumpy, they're just rude. But the reason why they're rude is because they have an attraction to the girl. Now we're getting to be more positive. As the book progressed, after the initial speed bump of me being like, oh, she's really annoying and cringy, it wasn't as childish as, you know, the story progressed, and I felt like her personality was like actually growing on me. Also, I like the fact that her sister was in the story. I really did love text, because I don't know why, part of me, some people are like, you know what, having characters text each other is just a lazy way of a conversation. But I don't think so. I don't know. I like when there's different mediums in text. I like when there's things like diary entries and, you know, like articles and stuff. And that's the one thing I did like about The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know why I'm talking about that. I actually don't know why, because I have not thought about that book since I read it when I was 16. As I'm reading this, do you know the Twisted Love, like the Twisted series? Both like the grumpy sunshine kind of thing. Is Alex the drawer in that one? Is he the drawer? One of them is the drawer. And he in this book is also a drawer. No, it's not. It's the dude in the second one. But what is similar is that in the Twisted series, she purposefully makes him a bad sweet treat. And he's like, no, it's fine, so he doesn't hurt her feelings. In this book here, not the same thing, but she made him a cupcake. And this man, right, Rowan, he does not like cupcakes, obviously. Not because he's the mean bad guy. So why would he like sweet things? He only likes ginger shots, probably. He pretended he liked the cupcake for her because he didn't want to hurt her feelings. He has a lot of nice things for her. There is a lot of talk about Pride and Prejudice in this book, which I did appreciate, because I do love Pride and Prejudice. And I'm not going to rip on him for this, but he did play a varsity sport. He's an athlete. Guess what sport he played? Varsity bowling. Yes, that's right. Bowling, where there's the pins and like they throw the bowling ball down. I've done bowling so much in my life, and I don't think I'd ever want to do it again. Anyways, this is another example of something nice that he does. He orders Chinese food, and he gets one of everything because he doesn't know what she likes. This book, aside from the side-eyeing comments, is very refreshing. Like, he's a little mean, but nowhere near other people mean. He was being nice to her in the text messages and all the little things that he did for her. It was very refreshing. Some man today took a video of me. I was walking to my car and I see this dude and he's like holding his phone and he's like panning around the shopping center like this. For a second I thought that he was on the phone with someone. No, so I'm just in the back of some random man's video. So yeah, I said I really like the amusement park plotline. I like the fact that it was at an amusement park. This place is definitely like Disneyland because there's like fireworks every night. Ethically, fireworks, yes, bad for the animals, bad for the environment. Fictionally, okay, whatever. It was nice because I do have a little, no, that's a spoiler, I can't say it. I did like this quote, so I'm going to read it out for you, okay? Kissing Zara is like reaching heaven after an eternity spent in purgatory. Like I've spent most of my life hopelessly ambling around waiting for her to show me the way back to the light. You're so stunning that it hurts to stare at you for long periods of time. If I had a heart to give, it would be all yours. So obviously he does have a heart, and obviously he does give it to her because, like I said, it's the contemporary romance. Not hating, guys. I promise I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not. I'm just like telling you what it is. The thing he disorganized for her, I don't know. Okay, guys, help me decipher this. The thing he disorganized for her. Hint. Something about a duke. Huh? I don't know. What did he organize for her? I don't know what that is. So this is what I talk about. I write notes and I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is why I need to start doing reading blogs where I update as I read. But no, I never do that. And then I accumulate these pages of notes that I have to try to catch up. Is it the book signing thing? Okay, I think it's got something to do with the book signing. There's that. So should you read this book? If you are looking for the standard contemporary romance with the grumpy guy and then like Sunshine Girl is there's a little bit cringy and everything and it's, you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't know if this would be a good filler book. You know how sometimes when you read a really heavy book, you need something like light and fluffy, and I feel like this book is kind of a little bit long for that because it's 430 something pages. What is this? I distinctly remember filming a conclusion / outro to this video, but I can't find it anywhere, so I'm just gonna do it now. In this video, we went over The Cruel Prince, Crown of Midnight, and The Fine Print. OG Booktok books. My experiment was to figure out if these books were popular for a reason. I can see why people would gravitate towards these books. If you've read these books, let me know what you think of them. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? Okay, goodbye.